everybody, this is a relatively quick, I'm aiming for 20 minutes or so, wall class with a focus on hips, hamstrings, and quads. So this is great for you, those of you who are really tight. If you either sit in a chair a lot, or you run, or you elliptical, or you do something that's made this whole region really tight, it's really good for everyone. And if your back can tolerate legs up the wall, this is one of my favorite relatively quick series that you can do on a regular basis. So find your way to any sort of wall, even a closed door will work. You don't even need a mat necessarily, other than you're gonna want some padding. If you have a block, great. And the other thing you might want, if you have a sensitive knee or just a knee, any knee, is a little hand towel for one of the quad stretches we're gonna do. It's quad and psoas. These are your quads. Okay, making sure we're recording because the last one didn't take. So easiest way to get up the wall, you have to shimmy awkwardly against it, put your butt as close as you can, and then very gracefully or clumsily or awkwardly swing yourself around. That might allow you to not have to do much of the awkward shimmy, shimmy, shake, but you're gonna shimmy, shake yourself to get as close to the wall as you can. For many of us, it feels good to have legs up the wall. It's actually great in general for pain and resetting the musculoskeletal system, but also it might be uncomfortable for some of us. So if that is the case and you end up having to bail, no worries. I promise to create a class like this without it. Well, looks like we might have a furry visitor. You might have furry visitors at home. Thank you, Hinky. Okay, I'll lay down. Go on. Good. So let yourself get settled in. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, empty, and release your exhale. Good. Doing that again. Big breath in through the nose. Emptying and releasing. Your hamstrings are tight. Just bend your knees. And take some of the pressure off the back. And let your breath start to move in and out through your nose. Your breath is going to be the barometer for where your edge is today. And we're really trying to measure what's enough, what's appropriate for your body today. And take a moment to set an intention. Maybe it's just that, to actually listen to what you need, not to force or push. Once you've set an intention for yourself, if you have a block and you want to use it, grab that block and slide it between your knees. You're going to slide your feet down, regardless, block or not, to about the place that they just start to settle. So they just anchor here. You don't need them really close to the body. It's going to feel too funky on the hips. So keep them pretty far up. Your feet are above your knees. And your feet are 2 fist distance, right? Or a block, okay? Putting weight into your feet, using your arms for support if you need to. Inhale to elevate your hips. Exhale to lower back down. Try to go slowly. Try to go a nice slow breath. And try to do what's called, this is a fancy word, intrasegmental mobility. What that means is you're trying to get your back, your vertebrae, to move separately, to not move in like big chunks of like, low back, mid back, upper back, but to try to get as much of a smooth move up and down. Take about 3 more. Without the block, you'll just make sure to monitor that your knees are not falling together and that they're not also falling super far out, but you're keeping the weight distributed evenly on those feet. Good. Dropping your hips back down to the floor. If you move it away from the wall, that's okay. Straightening your left leg, maybe, or keeping it bent if that makes your back feel happier. And then grabbing onto the back of the right thigh. Flexing the left foot unless it's bent. Good. Holding the right leg close to your body. None of this nonsense of working on a straight leg. Okay, you can leave that crap back at, the presidential fitness testing we had to do in elementary school. We're not looking for that. I want you to work to keep your right knee a little bit bent. And you're trying to access sensation. Sometimes people call it pain, but we want sensation, nothing sharp, biting, or acute, in the belly of the muscle. So right in the middle of your hamstring. If you're really, really tight, I like to call it really effing tight, you can continue to bend and straighten. That might be more effective for your hamstring muscles. Okay? Maybe working to extend, to lower, straighten, blah, 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 or blah, 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 or you're going to push through the heel. push through the heel, and let yourself extend through the bottom of the foot all the way through the heel. Good. A few of us might even grab higher if you're pretty flexible, but don't make that the goal. Like, don't see that I'm doing that and think it's the right thing for you. You're working to decide what's right for you here. Keep breathing. When you're not breathing, you're pushing too hard. Ooh, see mine shimmying? Yours should be shimmying. It's a little wake up happening. Take 2 more breaths. Keep plugging back with that right hip. So try to draw the right butt bone back to the wall a little bit. That should make it feel worse. You're welcome. Good. And then let that right leg go and take the right ankle across the left thigh. This is called figure 4 stretch, hence the figure 4 shape. Some of us are so tight that this feels crazy tight, right? Your knee might be here. You're like, holy smokes, this is enough. Okay. Or other 4-letter words that are not holy. Okay. Right butt cheek is where you're meant to feel this. A lot of us are going to need to start to pull the lever down on the left foot to increase the pressure on the right hip. Tendency here is to kind of let the right hip hike up, which is going to move you away from the productive stretch. Ooh, I hate that word productive. Beneficial stretch. We get too much conversation about productivity in our world. How about rest? Okay. Breathe. How about play? So fill your belly with breath, and I want you to feel what you're feeling today. That is the name of the game. Feel your feelings, feel your hip, feel the sensation, monitor what's enough, monitor what isn't enough. Where is it enough? Why am I striving, right? Why do I like the word productive or not like the word productive? This is not about productivity. This is presence. This is breath. This is learning to feel. This is learning to give yourself what you need. Keep letting the tailbone, notice how it wants to kind of scoop away from the floor. Keep putting a little bit of pressure to let your tailbone plug into the wall, to like anchor it down just a little bit. Take 2 more breaths. You might feel this inner thigh too. Good. Woo, undo that one, shake it out a little bit. Might make funny crackling noises. And if it felt okay to lift and lower here, do that. If this is really, this lift and lower thing is just not working for you, you can instead do some pelvic tilts. So you rock your pubic bone forward, try to suck your belly down, and then go the other way, pubic bone towards the wall, get a little arch underneath the back. Okay, so if that other one was too much, just do some pelvic tilting. We're just moving the back, the pelvis in a neutral position. We're in and out of anterior and posterior tilt, but you don't have to know what that means. Good. When you feel ready, hamstring stretch, other side. I'm going to keep my right leg straight, but remember that you could also keep it bent to keep that low back happy. Grab onto the left leg, give it a couple kicks. You might find that one leg is much more open or much tighter than the other. We all have dominant patterns. Good. And then either keep bending and straightening or find the stretch that's right for you. Tendencies to pull yourself away from the floor, don't do that. Instead, butt down. In fact, that's why some of us need to keep the knee bent. I don't want your butt lifting and curling away from the floor. Keep it neutral, keep it relatively flat. Let that left leg shake. Take breaks when you need to. And move that calming breath through your body. Right? Productivity is the same language that goes with this achievement BS. And so maybe it's your achievements that have created some back pain, some stress, some discomfort, some tightness. I'm trying to re-examine some of that, right? The pandemic was an opportunity to re-examine some of that, left ankle across the right thigh. But a lot of us have probably found ourselves back into familiar rhythms of stress and busyness. Left butt cheek is where we're trying to feel it. Maybe you bend your right knee and draw your foot down a little bit. Figure out where is the right amount of sensation for you that you could still breathe through, but it still feels beneficial. There isn't a perfect science to this. We're working to be in conversation with the body, with the breath, with the sensations. Personally, the reason I started to hate the word productive is just a capitalistic society, so focused on achievement, Everything we do, we think it has to be productive. And I say F that. I think we're here to play, to create, to learn, to grow, to connect. You're connecting with your breath and your body right now. You're connecting with your needs and the vocabulary of your nervous system. You're rewiring yourself, truly. Undo that. Put your feet back on the wall. A couple more lift and lowers or those pelvic tilts. Try to relax into it a little bit. So yes, you want to control the movements, but too much rigidity is actually going to create the opposite feeling here. It's going to be less beneficial. Good. And then last option or two you could take before we do my favorite, most torturous quad stretch, you're welcome, is you could either take a butterfly posture here, or if you've got the room, you can go one leg or two leg straddle. Take a couple breaths. This should be pretty intense. Both postures are good ones. Just pick one. No force here. I like to hold my legs where it hurts because it helps me stay with the sensation. Big belly breathing. Good. If you've got your legs in a wide straddle, start to bend your knees. Use your hands for support so you don't blow a groin out, and bring those legs back. Good. Getting off the wall is about as graceful as getting on it. Roll yourself over. Watch out for whatever furniture or things you have. You're going to want that towel if you have sensitive knees. You can also fold your mat over a few times. Those of you who have been with me in person know that trick. But anything to pad your knee will help. I'm going to start on my left side, so you might want to too. Take your, what is this called? A towel, hand towel, whatever you've got, into a little donut, okay? You're going to put your kneecap right in the center of the donut, and you're going to put that knee as close to the wall as you can get it. So there's some finagling here. Wall class is never graceful. We don't even pretend. In fact, I don't want your practice to be that graceful anyway. Okay, so you're going to put your knee right up against the wall, your shin against the wall, as close as you can get it. Some of us are already going to find sensation. Here's a key point. The heel is outside the hip, not tucked behind. Okay, so move that shin perpendicular as best you can. And even notice that the foot likes to sickle. Okay, I would apologize for my dirty feet, but I'm just a barefoot person and I think it's a good thing. So I'm sorry if you're bothered by feet in general. I heard that's a Gen Zer thing. Okay, anyway, I digress. Step your right foot forward if you can. You might need your blocks here. So if you put your blocks underneath you, that might give you a little more room. And again, we don't care about grace. We're just trying to get there. For some of us, this is enough. Notice if the pelvis is dumping forward. One of my favorite rules is no crotches on the floor. I don't want you to dump forward. I want you to pull the left butt cheek back, okay? If you can get your hands on a block here or up to your right thigh, it should start to feel pretty terrible in your left thigh. Now, full disclosure, I thought I was recording the first time, so I've already done all this, so I'm even more open, but a lot of us aren't open here. So if you're huffing and puffing here, fine, just breathe. Get the sensation somewhere here. Okay, if this is absolutely not working for you, you can lay on your belly. I'll show you that one in a sec, and pull your leg in from your belly. Okay, but if you're here and you can manage it, stay here, anchored down through the tail, anchored down through the ribs, push back with the right butt bone. Some of us might even take the arms up against the wall. That was my noise that just sucked. Okay, so if this is just 100% not working, I want to give you a quick option. Go on your belly, go for like Sphinx pose, and then grab your foot and pull down here. No low back pain, so if that's happening, drop your ribs lower and push your pubic bone into the floor. Okay? Okay. Sorry, those of you at the wall, I know you're being tortured. Stay. 2 more breaths. You got this. I'm with you in spirit. Okay. Ready? You can swear too. I think swearing helps release anger, and I'm learning all this stuff about why we need to release feelings and not always be so damn nice. So swear if you need to. I encourage it. I like to do it myself. So swearing yoga teacher does not make people happy. They think we're always supposed to be polite, but I can be polite and sweary. Okay, take this donut, put it back by the wall again. Take your right knee into it. Also, you can't have the initials of AF and not just like, embrace that, right? Okay, right shin against the wall, right toenails up the wall, left foot trying to step forward, Hips trying to move back. You might be here if that works for you. If you can get up, a little higher, okay? What you're gonna get into is more into the hip flexor. I don't know if you can see that from the camera view, but the front of the hip. I know you can feel it. Okay, oh, again, not pretty, okay? Also, left hip tends to wanna hike up. Try to drop the left hip a little bit. That should also feel worse. And then anchor the ribs, and it might move that sensation into a little bit more towards the middle of that left thigh. Breathe into your belly, try not to hold your breath. Breath holding creates stress. You're doing great. I know this sucks, let it suck. When I learned that feeling was the statement, you need to feel it to heal it, I was like, well, that is some royal BS, right? Because who wants to feel hard things? I would rather feel the torture right now in my right quad than have a difficult conversation with my wife. Quite frankly, I might rather feel this than like call the cable company or order at a drive-through. Right? We move away from discomfort all the time for good reason. But this practice is an invitation to learn to trust that you can tolerate momentary discomfort. Whew, all my stuff shaking. This leg's shaking just to try to help this leg. Take 1 or 2 more breaths. Embrace the suck. Awesome, you guys. Get out, get out. Take that left knee back. Crawl yourself forward. Maybe a couple cat cows. I like to wiggle in them apparently. If you're done, you can be done. I would recommend a shavasana from here. You might want a child pose. And then a couple options to end. You can simply lay on your back for traditional shavasana, which is flat on the mat. I also love to lay with legs up the wall with a block underneath the back. So this is a supported back bend, but it also lets the head of the femur bone, your thigh bone, settle into your hips a little bit more. So back to the awkward maneuvering up the wall. And then shimmy as close as you can for reals. And then lift your hips and take this block, not right underneath the butt, because then you'll be kind of curled up. See how my butt's curled? Get it higher so that you almost feel like your butt is hanging off the edge of the block. Yep, I like to be almost right up against it. So real awkward shimmy, shimmy shaking in here. Good. And then letting your arms rest at your sides. This is Shavasana for some of us. Deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, empty and release the exhale. You can butterfly here too. Maybe again, letting yourself surrender. If you're uncomfortable and you can't stay still, find a different posture that allows you to be uncomfortable. Being still with ourselves is sometimes the hardest part of this practice. Can I also embrace the agitation of staying still, of being here? And if the answer is no, direct compassion towards that answer and do what you got to do. If the answer is I'll try, then try. If you want to stay longer here, feel free to pause the video and stay as long as you like. If you're ready to move on, wiggle your fingers and toes. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little side to side. And then one last dismount off the wall. Coming up to seated. Closing together, bringing your palms to heart center. coming back into gratitude and intention. And you continue to give yourself credit for all the ways you show up, for all that you do, and for all the ways you're learning to rest, to self-care, to feel into the moments as they come, to heal. I'm grateful for each of you. The light within me bows to honor that same light within you. Om Shanti. Great work, everyone. Go do your thing. Go light up the world. Thank you for being here. Until next time. Oh, like and subscribe. Do that. Please share this. I'd love to help more and more people get access to this. So thank you. Thanks for being here.